On peoples, I just want to say that I'm kind of out here on the farmland. My land is up there. I'm kind of just walking. There's like a little path. It's a little path down into the river. There's a river down there, like a small river, really small river. Maybe can be considered more of a stream than a river. It's just it's really peaceful being in a place that you can be black without worrying about being black. You know what I mean? Like, think about that. In America, you have to be black and worry about being black. We always have to be on our toes because we're very aware that we're black, and we always got to be on guard. We got to act. We got to be a certain way so people won't be scared of us or afraid, or we always got to fight the stereotypes and all that. And one thing I think we enjoy about going to the Caribbean is you get to be black without thinking about being black, right? In the Caribbean. But it's kind of hard sometimes because, other people go to the Caribbean that don't look like us. So even though you get to be black without, really thinking about being black, it's not 100%. Plus, one thing we have to think about, us black folks, we need to get out and travel more. And I noticed that we tend to go to the Caribbean. That's as far as we go. We go on cruises for the most part, and we think of that as traveling, right? But if you think about it, if you really sit back and think about it, most black people, on this side, the diaspora, the Caribbean slave plantation, the east coast of America, slave plantations. Most black people live about 100 miles at the most from the slave plantations that their ancestors, you know, was their ancestors brought to. So we make ourselves free. We actually made ourselves free. Nobody freed it. We freed ourselves through, resistance. That's what really happened. So don't let them think that some guy named Abraham Lincoln, out of the kindness of his heart, freed us. No, we freed ourselves because we fought the whole time. But we really don't go too far from those slave plantations. We don't go anywhere. So when you go to the Caribbean as an African American, if you travel to the Caribbean, all you're really doing is traveling to the other slave plantation with your other black folk. You know, when you go to Brazil, Dominican Republic, all you're doing is going to the other slave plantation with all your other black folks. When Brazilians come to America and they come to the East Coast, they're going to the other slave plantation. We go from slave plantation to former slave plantation to former slave plantation to former slave plantation. That's what we do. Yes, we enjoy ourselves in the Caribbean. We do enjoy ourselves when we travel. We love cruises. Cruises are fun. But let's keep it real. We don't seem to migrate away from the slave plantation. And when we do, where do we go? Europe. We go to Europe. We go to Italy, Spain, France. We go to where the former masters live, and where the former masters took all the money from the former slave plantations, and they're prospering over there. That's where we go. So we go to the master's house, and then we go to the former slave plantation. That's been what we've been doing so far. So when you broaden your horizons a little bit and go to Africa, because this thing is, Europe is small, y'all. I mean, Europe is small. Europe is very, very small. People need to get a correct map. Okay? Get a correct map. And actually see how the scale of things, how big Africa is, and how not big Europe is. How not big Asia really is. And the thing is, you travel the world. Africa's most of the world. Black people are literally the world. We've really been the majority. I don't know. Don't listen to those statistics saying we've ever been a minority in this planet. We've always been the majority of people. Period. It's just that they do anything and everything to keep us down. Like, for instance, they say we're 13% of America's population. Bull crap. How the hell are we 13% of America's population? How would 13% of America's population survive such intentional onslaught of persecution, rape, and murder and genocide? Clearly, there's more of us. All right. And if we were only 13% of America's population, why do we have over $1 to $2 to $3 trillion purchasing power? If we're so poor, if black people are so poor in America and we're in the ghetto, we're in the hoods, why do we have such a large purchasing power? Where the money coming from? Why we have money? We have money. There's a lot of us here. There's more than 14%, and we have money. But you think that they're gonna tell us that we're like 30% of America's population? You think they're gonna tell us that? When they first brought the slaves here, there was more of us than of them. Okay, they actually had to bring in immigrants from Ireland and all these other places just to make up the population difference, because there's always been more of us than them. Okay, always. And you see how big? Do you guys realize that you could fit all of the United States, all of Europe, China, and India all in Africa? That's how big Africa is. So when you start thinking about traveling, you need to think about traveling to Africa, man. You got to. This place is insane. This place is beautiful. This place is beautiful. And like I said in one of my other videos, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Don't be scared to come here. Don't be scared. These people are very welcoming. Okay? They have a slightly different way of living, which is actually very conducive to black people. I mean, I can honestly say that most black people, I would say most country black people, I say country folk. All right, we talking about folk who live on who know about the country, could easily move here and not skip a beat, culture wise or anything. You won't skip a beat. You won't miss nothing. You have everything and then some here. And it's just amazing how they were able to stop us from even coming here, from being scared. They got black people scared to go home. They got us scared to go home. They got us scared of ourselves. We scared of ourselves. Think about it. It's not just white folks scared of us. It's not just Asians scared of us. We are scared of ourselves. Psychologically, we're so messed up here. They did it to us. Think about it. Why do you think they were so adamant about us not reading? We could read when they brought us here. We could write when they brought us here. We did math when they brought us here. They had to get rid of that. They had to get rid of that. There was a reason for it. You ever wonder why? Why? I mean, they let us read now. We all slaves now. I mean, what did they do with slaves, right? They worked them to death. Then they gave them just enough food, just enough shelter so they can eat, survive, and come back to work, right? What do they do now? Everybody's a slave now. They done figured it out. Why just black folks? Shit, white people slaves, Asians, everybody's slave. They pay us just enough so that we can go home, and then come back to work. And they give us a measly, most of us get measly, 5-10 days off of a year? Think about that. Your whole life consists, the fun in your life consists of 2 days out of a week. They give you those days off. For some people, they give you those days off. You go and you entertain yourself. And then on Monday, you bring your ass back to work. And you live paycheck to paycheck. And it's designed that way. They don't want you to flourish. They don't want you to do any of that, because it takes poor people to keep rich people rich. And that's the thing about it. There's a better way to live. Okay, what rich people are rich? What do they need more money for? It's because they're greedy. That's all it is. They're greedy. There's nothing wrong with being rich, but there's something wrong with being greedy. And we just need to open our horizons and realize that Africa is massive. It's massive, and everybody else is coming here. This is Europe's favorite destination. The white folks in Europe, they have real holidays, all right? They take holidays, all right? And they come here. Why? Because they love the people, they love the culture, they love it all. Okay, we should love it too. If they love it, Asian people here, they love it. We should love it too. It's ours. We didn't ask to leave. We're the only people in the world that immigrated forcefully. We have a right to this place. And no African person, respectively, no African person can tell us that it's not ours. None of them. Because it's the land. It's about the land. It ain't about so much the people here. It's about this land, this dirt, this earth. That's ours. You understand? It's ours. So you have the right to come back here. You should come back here. And if you come here one time, that's all it's going to take. You gonna come here one time, and I'm not talking about, don't go. You know how you go to the Bahamas, right? And it's real commercialized. Everything's commercialized. But then if you go like to like Jamaica, like deep in Jamaica, not just the tourist traps. I'm talking about Jamaica. You know what I'm saying? And for all my DC folk, you know what I'm talking about. When you come to DC, but you downtown, right? You see like the monuments and all that, but you ain't in DC. You're not in DC. You need to go to northwest, northeast, southeast, southwest. You need to go to DC. That's DC, and we know that. All right. So when you come to Africa, make your way into Africa. Don't go to the tourist traps. Okay. I mean, you can have your fun there, yeah, but try to get up in there and see the real people, the local people. Have a meal with them. You know, they invite you in. Have a meal with them. Sit down, talk. You know what I'm saying? And you will see it. You're gonna feel it. You're like, God damn, what have I been missing? Like, the sky is even more beautiful here. This place was for us. So I'm just saying, guys, just expand your horizons. Book a trip here. Don't listen to anybody. Don't listen to none of that don't propaganda. Okay? Propaganda. Psychologically, we're damaged. Okay? Just like, think about, you got a lot of analogies, right? Like a horse. How do you break a horse? Right? How do you get a horse, a powerful beast like that? No, better yet, how do you, an elephant? All right, let's take an elephant. How do you get an elephant to stand where you want it to stand and walk away and it still be there? It's powerful. It's the most powerful land creature on earth. There is nothing that can defeat a full-grown elephant. There's nothing. There's nothing on this planet. Not a lion, none of that can defeat a full-grown elephant. Elephant can do what it wants, when it wants, how it wants, whenever it wants. Okay? How do us men, us little small fleshy things, how do we get an elephant to stand there and do what we say? It's mental. You know, they first, what they do is they put a chain, right? They take a big heavy chain, something it can't get off, and they'll attach it to a big old huge tree trunk like that. Even though an elephant can just rip that thing out, right? Rip that thing totally out. But they attach it there, and then the elephant will move, and it can't move, right? It's chained, it can't move. And then it conditions it to set it, every time you put something around his neck, it can't move, right? So that's what they do. They do that to elephants, they do it to horses. So then eventually, once they know they psychologically have that elephant mentally broken, it is now a slave. You can do what you want with it. They don't even put the damn chain on there. They take a rope, tie a rope. It can be a thin rope, it ain't even strong, and they're tied around something like that, right? And the elephant goes, it moves, it feels just the slightest resistance, and it stops because it feels like it can't move. It can't go nowhere. And that's us. Okay, we went from them heavy chains. To the psychological chain. So psychologically, we look at Africa, we think, oh, AIDS infested. Everybody, running around shooting each other with AK-47s. All the kids got big swollen stomachs and they're all starving, right? All that crap. Lions, right? I mean, well, ain't no damn lions out here. You gotta go to the zoo just like any place else, all right? That's way off in the forest. I'm from Maryland. You don't see no grizzly bears just walking across PG County, walking the road in PG County. I mean, maybe sometimes, the rare occasion, but it's not a normal thing. Now, you're talking about deer, sure. But ain't no grizzly bears, no black bears just strolling down Pennsylvania Avenue. So, it's not like that. So I encourage all my black folks, and I'm talking about my black folks that's talking like this, all right? Because like I said before, Africa's not for every African American. Africa's not for every black person, and every black person is not for Africa, because they don't need certain people. They don't need the bad ones. They're only looking for the good ones. If you're gonna be a bad one, don't come here. They don't need that. They got enough bad people exploiting them. They already trying to get out of colonization. All right, that's a problem. You got to put things in context. While we was dealing with slavery, you got some of these African Americans talking about, oh, why didn't the Africans come and save us? Well, how the hell were they supposed to do that? They were dealing with the same people. While the British and the Portuguese and the Dutch was bringing us over here, half of them stayed over there and subjugated the people in Africa. They didn't freaking know. Hell, half these Africans I talk to, they don't know nothing about slavery. You think the British? It's the British who set up the school systems here to psychologically destroy the African, while simultaneously psychologically destroying the African in in America, in the Americas. These people don't even know about it. Some of these people didn't even know that there were black people over there until the TV became popular. And when TV became popular, it was black exploitation TV that they saw, right? They saw gang, they saw Menace to Society. That's who they saw when they saw black people. And we saw the Discovery Channel. That's what we saw. Okay? So the best thing about now is we have social media. I'm 35 years old. I remember in school when computers became popular. Who's looking at computers like, whoa, yeah, that screen that went doot, 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 doot. Remember that? Huh? Remember the internet? We had what? Yahoo Messenger, and everybody was just talking to random people, you know. And now, we just recently we got this thing called social media, right? So everybody has a camera now. So now we don't have to just get our news from the radio. That's controlled. We don't have to get our news from the TV. That's controlled. We don't have to get have movies out here that's spewing propaganda and hate. We can get information from the source. Okay? So now you can go on YouTube and you can type in Africa and you'll find one or two things, right? And every month you're starting to see more of Africa and it's starting to look different, right? So now you're starting to say, oh, they got cities? Yeah. Oh, they got roads? Yeah. Oh, they got this, they got that? Yeah. You know? So now the person, the individual can show you what's really going on. And the same thing's happening all around the world. You know, it ain't just us. It's happening all around the world. Social media is making it so people can start disseminating real information and we can get around, you know, the propaganda. And it's so bad. And the thing is, these old leaders, let me tell you something. These old leaders, we talking about the African ones, these 70-something-year-old freaking warlords that, you know, want to live back in the old days when they could control the masses with religion and propaganda. They just say one thing up, everybody believes it. Same thing in America. Look our political system. Look at the Senate and the House. You're talking about 60, 70-year-old people. But then when you vote that one person in, right? You vote that one president, you're like, oh yeah. What do you think that president going to do when they got to deal with over 200 old career politicians that been doing it for 30, 40, 50 years? You ain't going to get no change if you still got them old geezers in there. Same thing in Africa. You got somebody, I think is in Libya, not Libya, well, one of them countries in North Africa. You got a 90-year-old wheelchair-bound, blind and sick man. That's the president that want to run again. Come on, man. The people protesting, all right? The people protesting because they know it's bullshit now because they have the technology. They have the know-how. You know, they know what's up and they know what they want. The youth, they're tired of it, and they have they have the power of information. The pen has always been mightier than the sword, right? The pen represents information. Information is powerful, okay? And these old people, they don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to use social media. They don't know how to do it. They're trying to cut off the internet in certain African countries because they don't like how to chatter. They see all this chatter going on, and they see people are galvanizing together, getting together, they're grouping together, and they're making things happen because they can communicate now. They don't need the government. So they try to cut the internet off. But guess what? They got to twist it because these young people, they get around all that. You can't cut the internet off. It's impossible to cut that off. You can try, but young folks are smart. They know how to get around all that. They'll find a way to get back online. And here's another thing these old folks don't know. See, if they were smart, they would keep the internet on. Because at least they can monitor the chatter. You see, when you can't hear nothing, you don't know what's going on. You think these young folks can't communicate without the so-called, you know, standard internet? No, they still talking, they still chattering because they're about to take over. All right, so there's a massive change going on in this world. And I'm going to tell you now, I don't want to see 10, 20 years down the line. I'm like, I told you so. I told you 10 years ago, you need to get over here. You need to start something. You need to start a business. You need to do this. You need to do that. I don't want to have to say that. I'm saying it now. I'm over here showing it to you now. All right. So you need to get getting while the getting's good. Because at some point, you know, like for instance, Nigeria is a linchpin away from being a superpower. I'm telling you right now, Nigeria is a linchpin away. All they need to do is get rid of these old geezers, all right, and get some young blood. And they waiting. They here and they're waiting. So that's all I wanted to say. Get out here, get your passport, do what you gotta do. I don't care how difficult it is. You know, I don't care how difficult it is. Do it. It will be worth it. Trust me. I'm gonna go for now because I'm about to go meet the king of Africa. All right, I'm about to go meet a king. All right, king who would have more money if the British queen didn't do what they did. That's why they got the money over there. I'm out, people. Peace.